This is the ECG Golf Club. And welcome to this week's Hackers Podcast. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
Now watch this drive.
Hey there, sports fans. It's Zuuc and the Ashman. It's the ECG Hackers Podcast. It's a big podcast this week. Zuuc, it's our 21st podcast. It's our 21st birthday, mate. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ash. Good to be here as always. I'm travelling all right this week. I totally forgot it was our 21st, but that's a little bit of an achievement for a couple of hackers like us. And speaking of achievements, right. I think you had a pretty good round the other day.
Oh, I did, mate. I did. I probably played the best I've played in 20-odd years since, I had about a 13, 14-year hiatus. But, yeah, I shot an 86 at Palmer Colonial. My drives were on. I was smashing the drives. And I hit 11 of 14 fairways. I reckon I hit 2 or 3 of the biggest drives I've ever hit, from what I could tell on the rangefinder. They were over 250 metres, so... I felt like I got that extra 20 metres. Yeah, and I really crushed a couple. And they were under pressure too. I was playing through a group and, the pressure was on and crushed them. And I sort of felt, I didn't quite hit that very well, did I? No, I felt really good. The irons are on song, my single lengths. And I did use, for the first time, the Callaway Apex 21-degree driving iron. Bang. Okay. Beautiful. It's probably more like your Mizuno's. It's a forged head.
Off the deck or off the tee?
Off the deck. Just off the deck.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. I managed to get onto a par 5 in 2 with that. So I crushed the drive, hit a long 21-degree. It's pretty dry up here on the Gold Coast at the moment, so it ran nicely and it ran onto the green.
Nice.
And I think that's probably where that driving...
Very opposite in Sydney, very opposite.
Is it?
My tee time on Sunday got cancelled because of the rain.
Really?
Warringah Golf Course was closed because of water. So, opposites on the East Coast, definitely.
Yeah, wow, amazing. But, I had a great game. Just still using the Srixon Z-Star divides. Love them. They still give you plenty of shape, plenty of distance.
Cool.
Yeah, had a great day.
Awesome.
Just before we move into the news, the State of Origin Rugby League was on in Australia yesterday, and New South Wales crushed the Queenslanders. I just got a message, Belvedere, do we? Okay, there's a message here from Club Lock.
Hackers, it's Club Lock here. Just wanted to give you a big shout out for another pod. Unfortunately, I'm stuck at the entertainment quarter in the fire exit in the car park. All I remember was 34-0 at halftime.
Stuck in the car park in the entertainment quarter. But thanks, Club Lock.
Never a dull moment with Club Lock. Never a dull moment with Club Lock.
No, never a dull moment. Also, before we go to the news, Belvedere has a message for us.
Hey, fellas. It's Belvedere here. I wanted to wish you a happy 21st episode. It's been a pleasure being the official voiceover artist of the ECG. I know I've got a head like a slapped ass, so I'm happy to contribute off camera as much as you need. Happy 21st, guys.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, Belvedere.
Thanks, Belvedere.
Great job. More importantly, it's time for the news.
Let's get this show rolling like a perfect putt and head over to Zuuc in the ECG newsroom. Over to you.
Thanks again, Belvedere. Kicking off with the PGA, it was an interesting final round and effectively became a bit of a match play between Scotty Scheffler and Tom Kim in the final round. But however, there was an interesting turn of events with, protesters claiming to be climate change protesters storming the 18th green whilst the leaders were lining up their putts. As can be seen in some of the photos here from news reports, I think this one's coming from the Independent in the UK. These climate protesters stormed the green, throwing powder of different colours onto the green. And luckily, there were police officers on hand. As we can be seen here, they were apprehended whilst on the green, and no doubt causing a fair bit of damage to the actual itself. Once it all settled down, Tom Kim had to sink a 10-foot putt to force a playoff, and was able to calm his nerves and be able to do so. In media commitments afterwards, it was interesting in terms of his response. He said that the actual protest took his mind off the pressure. So that, it was interesting that that happened. I would have thought it may well have lifted your heart rate a little bit. But he further went on to say that naturally they left a lot of marks on the greens, which is not right for us players, especially when two guys are trying to win a tournament. So after that little incident, it was up to the ground staff to clean the area. They came out with blowers and removed all the powder. A decision was made to actually move the hole, so they cut a new hole away from the damaged area. And unfortunately for Kim, on that first playoff hole, his approach found the bunker, which effectively handed the Travellers tournament to Scotty Scheffler. It was Scotty's sixth win for 2024, so 6 wins in 6 months. That's pretty remarkable. But I guess, Ash, how do you think you would have coped with the protest interruption? Would it have been something like Kim, where it would have taken the pressure off you, or do you think it would have made matters worse?
Well, knowing myself, I'd probably get a bit more pissed off, to be honest with you. But to put myself in, I'd be tackling. I think be Andrew Simon's tackling. But I think putting myself in Kim's shoes, I guess under pressure. Was it during the playoff or was it prior to the playoff?
It was prior to the playoff. It was the 72nd hole. So there was basically. He was lining up his 10-foot putt to force the playoff, and then they stormed the green, which meant there was probably about 10, 15 minutes for him to think about things before he had to take that putt. So a tip of the cap to him. I certainly would have handled it that well. Having to think about something like that for 10, 15 minutes would have drove me insane. I don't
absolutely.
Think
what really annoyed me, though, Zuuc, was when I saw the replay of it, the tackling them, and then I was watching, they were so close to the hole, there's all these cops in them, and they'd be wearing the wrong sort of shoes, they'd have heels on them, and there was tackling, there was elbows, there's guns in the ground. I'm like, it would have been a nightmare. So I didn't realise they cut a new hole. That's great.
Yeah, they
great
cut a
thinking.
new hole. I think calmer heads prevailed because it's actually a pretty cool course in terms of that 18th has a bit of an amphitheatre, and the crowds were there and the crowds were strong. So I don't think it would have been fair if they had to move the playoff hole from the 18th. So I think the happy medium was actually moving the cup, and they moved it forward so that it was clearly away from any of that damaged green, such that it was unlikely to come into play. So I thought that was a reasonable outcome given the circumstances. Again, Scotty Scheffler doing what Scotty Scheffler does. But
amazing.
Moving away and moving on to Liv. Liv was at Nashville this week. That was another well-supported event.
Amazing crowd.
Gallery's pretty strong in that front. Terrell Hatton, who is the first to admit that he loses his head every week, managed to keep his head in Nashville. He had a fantastic weekend shooting rounds of 6 under, 7 under, and 6 under to finish 19 under for the tournament, and a clear 6 strokes ahead of the next best place. This was Hatton's first win in 3 years, so well done to him. But perhaps the thing that kind of caught my eye was, and I think you may have seen it as well, was John Rahm's reaction to a drone, which has been used for footage, getting in his way, so to speak, as part of his backswing or his stroke as he was teeing off. And he let off a few expletives, outlining his disappointment I think it's been something that's plagued him a few times. This
apparently.
certainly hasn't been the first. So I guess, Ash, what's been the biggest distraction you've ever had whilst teeing off?
Oh, I've had a few cart girls with Locke. Probably. There's one recent. There was a bloody food truck on next to one of the tees, and it was playing loud music, so that was pretty decent. But probably one of the biggest distractions is kangaroos or magpies. In Australia, we have the black and white magpie birds. They're very aggressive, and they will swoop you and they will peck you, and they'll draw blood if they can. So I think I do recall playing a round of golf, springtime. There was maggies, they were swooping, and it did freak me out for a good hour and a half or so because they're very territorial, and if you're down a particular spot. So I would probably say, magpies. They distracted me. They're a form of a drone, in the air behind you. But can I mention though, I really like John Rahm. Big fan of John Rahm. Big fan of Tyrrell Hatton as well, and I put Tyrrell Hatton in a lot of my fantasy teams because he's a solid player and he's always up there, and he's a great teammate. But with John Rahm, I just cringe sometimes when he keeps blaming this drone. Like, it's there. It's part of the broadcast. What about the loud music that's playing around you?
I don't know how you can hear the drone with all the loud music that's going on.
Totally.
I think it's just one of those things that he's just fixated on it, and it's just in his head, and he just can't get it out. Yeah,
but I mean, no different really to those prop planes that go over sometimes. Like the tourist planes and things like that. Yeah. Anyway.
And just finally, I know we've mentioned Miles Russell before, but just I guess a bit of a PSA. Miles Russell, if you remember, is the 15-year-old who managed to make the cut in a recent Corn Ferry Tour event. As a result of that, this week's PGA sponsor, Rocket Mortgage, granted him a sponsor's exemption into their event. And so he is to participate in this week's PGA Tour. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares, a 15-year-old up against tour professionals. There were some interesting quotes from some of the players in the event. Willie Mack joked that Miles isn't even technically allowed into the locker room at the Detroit Golf Club because the rules stipulate that you must be over 16 to enter. Yeah, and Minwoo Lee, whilst wishing him well, said hopefully he doesn't beat me, but does well. So I guess, Ash, how do you think he will fare against the might of the PGA Tour?
Oh, I think this is fantastic. This is a sort of story that gets me very interested in the PGA, and I think that's probably where the PGA's strength is bringing a bigger group of people together in the golf world. I'm really excited by this, and I will watch if I can. This is the kind of thing you think of sports legends like Donald Bradman and a great cricketer who played first grade cricket at the age of 15, I believe. This is a great opportunity for the kid. And I did watch a couple of interviews on Detroit TV with him, and he can't get in the locker room. He can't drive to the course. He's got to be driven to the course. And what an awesome story. I hope he does well. I don't know a lot about him, and statistically, I don't know how his swing speed is or anything, but I think it's a great story. Really, really interested.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of those things that I'm all for these kind of sponsor exemptions, and probably why I yipped Tiger Woods' lifetime achievement exemption last week is that these are the kind of things that move the needle. I know Tiger Woods moves the needle, but I think there's a point in his career where ceremonial Tiger Woods can come out 4 times a year at the majors. I think this is a better use of sponsor exemptions by the PGA.
100%.
But, anyway, that's my 2 cents, and that's the news for the week.
Awesome.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
With Zuuc and Ashman. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG. Where everybody can go.
Thank you, Belvedere, and thank you everyone watching at home on Spotify, YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel. Send some comments below. If you've got any questions, if you just want to get involved, please comment below. We're more than happy to get you involved. This is our 21st episode. It started off as a little bit of a, maybe we'll try doing a silly podcast, and we're 21 later. It's been a great bit of fun. Nice to catch up with you every week. Just talk, golf stuff. And general sports stuff. So it's good stuff. I do get quite obsessed with my gear, my golf gear, and I know a lot of golfers out there do. We did a segment a while ago on ball markers. I'm a big fan of a ball marker. I used a great ball marker this week. It was a golf bag in the shape of a Callaway golf bag, and I enjoyed using that one. Very cool. Yeah. You've got one on your hat there. I can see that, the baseball glove. Ball marker?
I do. It's because Mizuno, manufacture a lot of baseball equipment. It's a baseball glove magnet with the baseball that sits on top, which is the ball marker. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Hats are another thing I get a bit obsessed about on the golf course. And you had the Melbourne hats.
Look at your back wall. There's plenty of hats there.
Oh, there's hats there. But I actually just started wearing my trilbies again.
Okay.
It's not too hot at the moment. Don't get too sweaty. But what I wanted to talk about is single legs clubs. So this is a little segment we call Obsessions.
Golfing obsessions. Golfing obsessions. Golfing obsessions.
Obsessed. All right. Let's talk single length golf clubs if we can. This is something that I've adopted in the last 2 years of playing golf again. It's a concept that I always thought was very valid, even back in the 90s when I felt like, when you have an idea and you think it's yours and it's your idea. And I remember thinking, why are clubs all different lengths? And why spending so much time at a driving range, your swing plan was odd and everything. So it dawned on me, I think clubs should be all the same length. And I looked into it a few years ago, and single leg clubs have been around since the inception of the game itself, of golf. Just having the same length club but with a different loft on your club. So I really wanted to just give you a bit of an insight into what I enjoy club-wise now. And it's improved my game. I mean, I'm 50 and I shot one of the best scores I've shot probably, since I was in my 20s. Awesome. And I do put it down to consistency of a swing. And, golf really is about ability, but it's about, you want to simplify things, in my opinion, and you want to be consistent. And I find that a single-length golf club has given me that. And I enjoy picking up an iron out of the bag now, where I used to be a bit, didn't want to pick up a 5-iron. I'd probably just punchy 7 sort of thing. But, mate, so I use a brand of clubs, which is an Australian brand of clubs. They're called Milford. You wouldn't know who they are. There is a picture in there somewhere of Milford. That's what they look like. They're all 7-iron length. They're 62 degrees. They're all the same weight. And this is the most important thing about using single length clubs, is they've got to be all the same weight. So your swing is literally, is the same as you possibly can across all clubs.
Okay.
They're all based on that 7-iron, and most people would probably agree with you that 7-iron's the easiest one to hit. If I was to say the easiest club to hit is probably 7-iron. So they're all that length. The biggest learning curve, or the biggest adjustment in the single length, so that's my 7, would be your pitching wedge and your 5-iron. They're the two extremes. So your pitching wedge.
So you have
7.
So your lengths are 7-iron lengths from 5 to pitching wedge. You don't your gap wedge or your other wedges are what would be referred to as standard lengths for those clubs. You haven't extended beyond that. Okay.
Correct. But I actually, after the round I had this week, I think I'm going to adjust to the gap wedge to being full length as well, and then just having a sand and a lob wedge in standard length, and you stand a lot closer to the ball. Yep. But the pitching wedge being a 7-iron length means you're standing further away from your pitching wedge and you're giving it a bit more of a full swing. And I'm finding I'm hitting higher, I'm landing on the lot more greens with a pitching wedge. I'm hitting it longer with a pitching wedge than you probably normally would. But then I guess when you get to the 5-iron, I'm not quite hitting as far as maybe 5 meters less. Maybe not. It's very
because that's
marginal.
probably one of the main things that I guess I see as a bit of a drawback is around because of the 7-iron length. Naturally, once you get to your your 5, your 6, your 5, and your 3, and even your 2, you're starting to lose that swing speed, and therefore that distance can be compromised. But you're saying you're not really getting too much of a compromising.
No. If you statistically look into most stats, and you can find it, it's a bit of a fallacy. There is really no swing speed loss across the board, and you won't lose much at all in your swing speed and your distance. You're really not going to lose much at all. And in fact, you're going to gain confidence, and I feel like that's a far better win than.
So you feel the better strike will overcompensate any loss in
correct.
Any potential loss in swing speed that may impact distance. Okay,
absolutely.
Cool.
But probably the biggest adjustment would be the pitching wedge stance. But super accurate now from 100 out with a pitching wedge. Can get it on the green. So they're things that I never used to be able to do. I'm still absolutely crap around the green. My touch around the green is disgraceful. So I've got to work on that. But so that's Milford, and I'm not sponsored by them or anything. And I don't get paid for it. But they're a lot cheaper. They're a Australian brand. They're about $499 a set of irons, as opposed to a couple more that I've found online. So there's a brand, SMT, which are on your screen right now. This is a brand out of America. I actually really like the look of these. These are a brand that owned the longest drive distance club for 10 years in a row or something. So these guys manufacture drivers as well, but they've got this single length, which is, they look really good. And there's a black one in them as well. They're a lot more expensive. They're about $2,500 American for a set. But yeah, so they're very pricey. That's SMT if you want to check out single length. Then I found this brand. This is Bryson DeChambeau's brand. These guys are going to be making his and retailing his brand new club heads, Chris.
Is this a Voda or
a Voda?
A Voda?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, this is a Voda. I don't quite know what the logo says, but this is a Voda. These guys are going to be manufacturing his bulge-faced irons that he's created. These are expensive as well. These are about $2,500 American. But man, those black ones look sexy. They're a different look to them, but a really nice looking club.
I've got a question without notice, and it may be a difficult one. Is there any adjustability with lie angle? So we've got all the club lengths the same. So does the variable become lie angle so that if you've got a more vertical or more vertical swing plane, then you can take a more a higher lie angle, and if your swing path's a bit more shallower, you can have a lower lie angle. So they do have that customizable.
Generally no, but any good golf shop or golf pro can adjust your lie and loft angles on their loft and lie angle machine. So these generally come out at 62 degrees, which is the lie. I'm actually going to get my Callaway Apex. It's 60.5. I'm going to get it adjusted to 62 and get it and shortened as well. So it's about the loft and lie machine, really. But they're generally 62 degrees, Chris. You could probably get it to 60 or so, but it's literally bending the. I'm not sure if you've seen a loft and lie machine. It bends the loft. I'm not a big. I wish I had more stats for you, man. But
That's all right.
A lot of
I guess
the reviews. Sorry, mate. Go ahead.
I guess my question for her is: most people are pretty competent up until 7-iron, if I can say. Like, and if you look at some of the statistics that have been, published by, the data collectors in terms of like Arcos and the like, it's beyond the 7 where the return on investment, so to speak, drops off in terms of the gain as you move up a club becomes less and less, even though it should remain the same in terms of your gapping. So, is there any reason? I know this is long-winded to get to the point, but is there any real reason why choking down on a 5 to get that same length as a 7-iron wouldn't be the same result, or is it really coming back to the benefits of
because your head weight's different. Your head weight's different, and then your lie angle's different. So
that's the main takeaway, is it? Is it the uniformity of weight and the
correct
uniformity of lie angle as well as length?
Yep.
Is really
correct.
what a single length club set is. It's not just
correct.
All
it's
the
not
same
just
length.
Yeah, exactly. It's about consistency. So the concept is same swing, same weight, same. So you're giving every club the same physical ability. But the weight's got to be the same. The shaft should be the same. The lie angle's got to be the same. That's the real main difference. So it's not just a matter of cutting your clubs down, which I learnt because when I first tried single length, I cut the shafts down and realised that every club's different weighting. So you're not exactly doing the same thing over and over again.
Understood.
It's super consistent. I hit the irons a lot straighter. I don't slice, don't draw. It's pretty straight these days. So having that same setup is awesome. Definitely something worth trying. Probably the most famous of the single length clubs are the Cobra Kings, which Bryson did use for years and endorsed. They're very hard to get your hands on. If you try and find them secondhand, they're very difficult. I know America's got a lot more of these available if you want to try them secondhand, but over here in Australia, it's almost impossible to get them because they're quite rare. But look, as an idea, I would suggest going to the range and trying them. It's more about you've got to buy into the whole concept, though, Chris. It's not just you can't dabble one round and come out. It's actually it's an investment in technique. You know what I mean?
I'd be very interested to particularly give your 5-iron a go when we next catch up, just to see how it compares. I struggle with my anything above a 7. I struggle with. I think I have a more vertical swing plane, and therefore
you do.
Beyond
that,
you
do.
I struggle with once you move higher up the bag. So we'll be interested to give it a crack and look forward to giving it a crack.
Yeah, cool. Anything else you like? It's a bit of a passion of mine, but I'm right into the single lengths, and definitely if you've been thinking about it, give it a crack. Most reviews I see online are people like myself who have loved it and engaged in the concept, and their scores go down generally 4 or 5 strokes. So that's the main thing, right? You want your score to go down.
Absolutely.
Nice. That's about it, man.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
With Zuuc and Ashman. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG. Where everybody can go.
Thank you very much, Belvedere. What have you been doing today? You've been running today, Chris? You've been out on the...
It was a twofer. It was a twofer for today, the usual lunchtime run, and then a bit of... my strong Pilates of an evening, so I'm feeling a little worn down, but always try and bring my A game for these chats that we have on a Thursday night.
Nice, man. I appreciate it. Once again, if you're watching us on YouTube or Spotify, please like and subscribe. We're trying to build this channel, and we appreciate any of the love you give us. A couple of segments we do each week is Who's in Your Four Ball, which is when we select a theme for the week and we choose 3 people to play with you based around that theme. There's also Ripped or Yipped, which is when if you like something that we're talking about, you rip it. If you don't like it, you yip it. And if you watch us on Instagram, we've got a Yips of the Week. And I'm going to release that tomorrow, Chris.
Cool.
There's a few things that came in today, so I got a bit of production time. But I think, is it time for Belvedere? Who's in your four ball? I believe it is. Run that sting.
Hey there, everyone. It's Belvedere here again. It's time for this week's Who's in Your Four Ball? Back to you, Ashman.
What was the theme you chose this week, Chris?
21. And why do we do that,
Bang.
Ash?
Because it's our 21st episode. It's our 21st birthday. So it's Who's in Your Four Ball 21. The theme's 21. You can do with it what you like. And as always, we start with Zuuc. Who's in your four ball 21? Chris?
Four ball. This individual was born in 1921. So that's where the 21 comes into play.
Yep.
He's a legendary comedian, well known for his self-deprecating stand-up, and also, most famous perhaps amongst people like us for his role in Caddyshack as our Cervic. So,
wow!
Rodney Dangerfield is my team captain.
Bang!
Any excuse to have him on the course. Unfortunately, no longer with us, but an absolute legend. And certainly someone I'd love to have the opportunity to hit the links with.
Oh, absolutely hilarious. Check out his hat there. He's wearing the rope golf caps, which are back in fashion now.
Yeah.
All
the way back. I just love that golf bag with the color TV and the stereo in there. What an absolute legend.
Awesome.
And then in terms of my next participant, he wore the number 21 for the Atlanta Hawks, nicknamed the Humid Highlight Film. He's an avid golfer, nice. and I think in my research I could see he had a low handicap of 8. My second team member is Dominic Wilkins.
He had a handicap of 8.
Yeah, absolute specimen. One of the most athletic players to ever grace the NBA. And I certainly think, as demonstrated by his handicap, I'm sure he's pretty handy with the club. Yeah. My next member of the team, have no idea whether she is handy with the club. She's best known for a role in the police drama 21 Jump Street, where she played Judy Hoffs. She was also known for her role in the 90s sitcom Hanging with Mr. Cooper. And so that is Holly Robinson. So certainly someone I grew up with a little bit of a crush on when I was younger. Yeah. And certainly, we love her to be part of my four ball.
Awesome.
That's my four.
Nice one. Did you enjoy that? Did you find that easy to find, or how'd you go with it?
Oh, look, I certainly started with who wore number 21 in the NBA and kind of went on, diverged from there. But no, it was a reasonable challenge, but not a punish. Yeah.
Was Dominique Wilkins French? Or was he American?
I think he may have been born in a like an army base in French or
province
something.
Or something. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. I think. I could be completely wrong. Maybe that's why you're heading down that path.
Comment below if you know.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Who's in your four ball 21? Here we go. So my team captain, I saw him playing at the Sydney 2000 Olympics. He's a basketballer. He was born 1977, so he's a few years younger than me. Former professional basketballer. I picked him because he played 21 years in the NBA.
Wow.
21 years in the NBA. That's a career that spanned how many decades? Probably played. He's a shooting guard or small forward. Occasionally played power forward, very occasionally, when he put on a bit of weight. 8-time All-Star, 2-time All-Time NBA. The only player in NBA history to play 21 seasons from his debut in 1999, retired in 2020. He played in 4 different decades in the NBA. It's Vincent Lamar Carter, Vince Carter. And I've got a picture here somewhere.
Absolute
Vince Carter.
legend.
Bang. Look at that. Brilliant. Vinsanity. All right, second on my team. This is very left field. He was born in 1957. He passed away at the age of 21. He's better known by his stage name, Sid Vicious, from the Sex Pistols. He was 21 when he passed away. That's so young. He was the bassist for the punk rock band Sex Pistols. I find that remarkable. He was only 21, but yet he's a real icon of pop icon. Hey, imagine what he could have done if he stuck around a little bit longer. I think he passed away of a heroin overdose, and I think he was allegedly stabbed his girlfriend to death too. Apparently, Nancy, I think it was. That's a bit of a downer. Sorry about that. Last of all. Another fella that passed away at the age of 21, my last member of the team is Billy the Kid. Henry McCarty, alias William H. Bonney, Billy the Kid, American outlaw gunfighter, alleged to have killed 21 men before he was shot and killed at the age of 21. So that is my who's in your 4-ball. I had a lot of trouble coming up with that, I've got to say. After the break, we've got Ripped or Yipped with Zuuc.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
With Zuuc and Ashman. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG, where everybody can go.
We're churning along today, aren't we? On mega pace.
We are.
All right, it's time for Ripped or Yipped with Zuuc. After this sting, we'll get back to you, Zuuc. Sorry, mate.
Hey, fellas, Belvedere here again. It's time to go around the table with Ripped or Yipped. Let's see what side of...
Bang! Back at you.
Bang! You've given me the conch again, and hopefully I'll do it all right. Managed to scrounge up 5 or so things to talk about. So let's kick things off. One thing that is part of every club is a grip. And one of those things that manufacturers, particularly Golf Pride, who's the industry leader, is starting to, build into them some technology, or whether you call it technology or not, it's another thing. But one of the things that they've come up with lately really is alignment aids, whether they assist you in terms of where to place your hands and your grip, as well as giving you better indication as to how you are gripping the club with respect to the club face. Got an image of one of their current Align Tall Velvet grips up on the screen. I guess, Ash, your thoughts, Ripped or Yipped?
Ripped. Yeah, I'll go Ripped. Even though when it comes down to it, I always just put my thumb on the same spot, and then it's that little dot, which is the most important thing to me. The little dot. Yep. So I do like that picture you put up with the red stripe. I like that. That looks cool with the Tall Velvet. Yep. But when push comes to shove, I think I'm just going to put my finger just above the Tall Velvet. But I'll go Ripped.
Yep. I'm probably Yipped. I think this is pure marketing. I think at the end of the day, most of the grips have the dot, as you say, which is the point of reference that is is square to the club face. I don't know whether there's too much more benefit here, but maybe I'm the one who's.
It looks cool.
It does look cool. It does look cool. Maybe I'm the one who's not open-minded enough to see the benefit. But anyway, we'll move on. One of the more interesting things that I, came across during the week was a course in Sherwood Forest in North Carolina, which was using llamas as caddies. And I've just put up on screen an Instagram post demonstrating just that fact. Ash, Ripped or Yipped? Llama caddies.
100% yipped. I don't want my bag to have fur and that smell of damp, musky fur and animal. No, I'd rather carry my bag. I'll go yipped.
Oh, it's 100% yipped for me as well. And the fact that they've got to have a handler to
Yes.
muster the llama around just to me just seems to defeat the purpose. Just have the handler carry the bag. But
Interesting.
pretty interesting. And apparently this place isn't the only one. I think there's a few others that have done it either in the past or currently. So interesting choice of livestock. I know I had
that's right.
Secretariat in my 4-ball last week, so maybe I wasn't too far off on that one. But yeah, interesting. Next thing, and this may be a bit more up your alley. Obviously, we're all aware of Live and the loud music, and I think their tag is golf but louder. As part of linking themselves and fan engagement. They've actually put on Spotify branded playlists. So they've put on Spotify or will be putting on Spotify for each tournament a pre-golf and an in-play playlist. Obviously, the music that they play during the event, as you can see on screen, we've got the Nashville pre-golf and the Nashville in-golf playlist. Ash, ripped or yipped, these Live playlists on Spotify?
I love my music, and I have noticed some good tracks they're playing, that chill sort of music. Oh, this is a tough one. I'll go ripped. I think, save you from Shazamming it, I guess. I do enjoy some of their music. It's probably best if we're talking entrance themes and things, but they seem to have gone away from that a bit. I think they've. The entrance theme. I think I'll go rip today, just for argument's sake. Rip it.
I think that's just the Live in you that's coming to the surface. Yipped for me. I think I'll stick to my own playlists and the like. But I guess I give them credit. It's another way to engage with fans, so I can't hold that against them on that front.
Nice.
Another thing, we all go to ranges, and we all kind of have our own habits when it comes to attending a golf range. I guess one of those things, fair or foul when it comes to leftover unused range balls and picking those up for your own benefit. Ripped or yipped?
Where I go down here at the Glades, there's always someone leaving a half bag there because they're off to the play. I'll say yipped. You don't touch it. Don't touch it. Yipped. Leave it. Have we frozen?
I'm ripped.
I've got a bit of freezing going on.
I'm ripped on this.
You're ripped?
I'm ripped. Yep. I'm ripped. Particularly, there's one place where I, bag an extra. An extra bucket for, and that's up at Linwood. Up at Linwood. A lot of people will get in a warm up before their round, and I generally overestimate how much time they have, and so there's always spare balls up there at the range, particularly on days where on the weekend when golf is played. So I'll certainly help myself to a few extra balls on that front.
Definitely not frowned upon. Actually, Chris, when I played at Sanctuary Cove, the Pines, a beautiful course, probably the best course I've ever played at. It had the range had the pyramid of balls, like you see at the pros, and they were all Titleist. It was fantastic. But yeah, you could just walk up to any of them, just hit them. So that was awesome. Yeah. Sorry, mate.
And finally, I guess any piece of social media, and I guess podcast probably can't go through this week without referencing Hock Tour, we're the same here, and trying to keep it PG and give it a bit of a golf context as well.
Yeah,
I'm just putting up on screen. Adam Hadwin's wife made a post to X, basically throwing Adam under the bus for showing the Hock Tour post at a family birthday party. Your thoughts, Ash, ripped or yipped, sharing the Hock Tour social media post at a family function?
Yipped. Yeah, yipped that. I'm already over that Hock Tour. And I was watching and Bryson DeChambeau teed off, I think it was, at Live this weekend, and I heard the Hock Tour a few times at the tee box from the crowd. And I'm like, please stop.
I think we're gonna be hearing it at tee boxes for a few weeks.
I think so.
It's gonna be horrible. It's going to be horrible. But totally yipped. Certainly not the right place. And I think unfortunately we'll be dealing with it on our TV screens as we watch golf.
Yeah.
But that's all, Rush. That's the
awesome.
Ripped or Yipped.
All right.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
With Zuuc and Ashman. Every episode.
All right, thank you, Belvedere. That's pretty much it. We've done a record time today. It's our 21st birthday. We're off to celebrate. We're off to the 19th
Maybe
hole.
that's why it was short and sweet.
Yeah, we've got things to do. We've got drinks to have. We've got, party pies to chew on. Something I was thinking about this week, actually, when I was playing, is food on the golf course needs to improve. Food for golfers, nutrition content, things like that need to improve. Like, I went out there and the only options you've got in Australia are pretty much a meat pie or a sandwich or something. And I would like to see something better out there. What are your thoughts, mate? When you play golf, what do you tend to do?
I adhere to the Scouts motto, be prepared. I've always got protein bars and plenty of bottles of water. That'll do me. I don't need anything at the turn from the pro shop or anything like that. I'm pretty boring. But yes, I agree with you. If you were caught short, the options are generally pretty poor.
Have you ever had a banana on the golf course?
I can't stand bananas. I can't stand them.
Me too.
Can't stand the smell of them. Can't stand anything.
Yeah.
If someone has a banana and has one on the course, I've literally got to walk 10 meters away from them. I cannot eat them.
And
that's
just hope they eat it the right way, and they're not eating it the long way. There was something I saw in the rough here at Palmer Colonial, and I was in good shape. The course, I hit one off the tee and it went right, blocked right, and I'm like, oh, look at this! There's some wild tomatoes growing in the rough area, and it made me think. I bet you someone's just had a sandwich and thrown, because I don't like tomato either. Thrown the tomato out, and there's
the
tomatoes growing. Yeah, that's probably what, because tomatoes grow crazy. But yeah, anyway, that's a little thing. Hey, thanks for the 21 episodes, Chris.
No problem, mate. I've enjoyed every single one of them.
Nice, me too, man. Are you playing golf this weekend? Did you try it, or is it still
No,
wet
I
down
won't be
there?
able to get on this weekend. I'll probably just be a bit of virtual stuff up at the range, but unfortunately, not able to get on this weekend.
Yeah, cool. I'm really trying to plan some sort of trip where we can actually have a round of golf again soon together. That was the 21st edition of the ECG Hackers Podcast. I'm the Ashman. That's my main man, Zuuc. We talk about golf. We love golf. We're obsessed by golf. We hope you are too. To anyone around the world watching us, please like and subscribe to our channel. Until next week, keep the balls rolling.
This is the ECG Golf Club.